Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Telling It Like It Is. My name is Jade Alberts, founder of Peer Guidance. Sharing knowledge and stories is why I started the Telling It Like It Is Facebook Live show. It is live. If you have any questions, please ask. If you are watching this after the fact on another social media platform, ask away. We will answer your question. I'd like to thank Evolutionize for the sponsorship. They are Alberta's mobile optometry clinic, a traditional optometry clinic that brings a 40-foot Winnebago to you. Telling it like it is, guest is Prasanthi Naidoo, founder of HealthJobHub. Prasanthi, thank you for joining me. How are you today?
I'm great, Jade, and thank you so much for having me on your show. I'm delighted to be here.
I do have to say one little thing. Of all the over 2 years that I've been running this, you were the only person to say no to me out of the get-go, but yet I still got you on, and I love it. And I mean, the reason that you gave me, and it was like, well, Jade, I don't know if I'm going to be around in 2 months, so I better not book a show that my company might not be here. And now look at you now.
That's true. Yeah, I'm always treading on the path of caution, and I'm excited to have this opportunity to be here. I must admit, I was very scared. Yeah.
Well, you've done such a great job, and I can't wait for people to hear your story. One thing I always like talking about briefly is how we were connected, because networking, as you know, is such an important part in being an entrepreneur. And Robert Irwin was the gentleman that introduced us, and we stayed in touch, and here we are now. So
yeah. And thanks, Robert. I really appreciate the introduction to Jade. Jade, you're amazing. I've watched some of your interviews as well in the past, especially the one with Eleanor. And yeah, I just find all your work fascinating. So keep up the good work.
Thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it. So absolutely. I will give a brief introduction here, and away we go. So Prasanthi is a fellow chartered certified accountant and entrepreneur, disrupting the traditional medical recruitment industry and challenges the ever-escalating and exorbitant healthcare recruitment costs. She founded HealthJobHub.com, an online platform that connects job seekers directly to employees, building a marketplace from scratch and making the impossible possible. She's a super mom, a Wonder Woman wife, and an astute entrepreneur. She balances family life meticulously with the startup life. We had a little brief conversation about that. And you're living the dream every day, and you plan to do more. So, I mean, I love what you're doing, and you're really disrupting an industry. And please share the story why you started HealthJobHub.com.
Thank you, Jade. That's a great question. HealthJobHub is actually the result of my own life experiences and starts well before coming to Canada. As you know, I was born and brought up in South Africa, where I trained to become a chartered accountant. I got married, and my husband was offered a job opportunity in Dublin, Ireland, where we moved to. Our plan was to be in Dublin for 6 months before moving to Canada, because we had a job opportunity there as well. But we enjoyed Dublin so much, we ended up staying for 10 years before we finally decided to move to Canada and explore this beautiful part of the world. We were very fortunate, Jade, because upon each move, my husband had already secured his job due to the fact that he's an outstanding medical professional, and also because of the great demand of such highly skilled talent globally. For me, on the other hand, it was different. Despite my excellent academic results, which, by the way, when I qualified as a chartered certified accountant in Ireland, Dublin, I was placed 3rd in Ireland and 14th in the world out of thousands of candidates globally. And despite the fact that I had excellent work experience, I found it extremely difficult to get a job in Calgary. But what I did get was many inquiries from clinics looking for healthcare professionals. So organically, I started matching international medical graduates with practice opportunities here in Alberta. I was always the link between these two parties, and I always made those introductions, and it was extremely time-consuming on my part. HealthJobHub was actually born out of the need for me personally to remove myself as the middleman and to free up my own time, but more importantly, to connect these in-demand and highly sought-after medical job seekers directly to employers.
No, and I think that's such a great way to do it, because it's such a unique industry, and throwing your stuff on a general board sometimes doesn't work. And I find that LinkedIn just gets a little too convoluted. And I've ran my own tests on LinkedIn about hiring, and it's just not good. I'm not bashing it. I mean, it's still a good, excellent platform and my favorite. But doctor offices have been doing things for the same for so long. So why did you think that they would be able to change the way they hire their staff?
Well, Jade, if you take, for example, the demand for physicians to join doctor offices, the demand for doctors significantly outweighs the supply. These job opportunities are left unfilled for more than a year in some cases.
Wow.
Traditionally, I actually have, clients that have experienced this. Traditionally, to hire a physician, the doctor office will engage with a physician recruiter, and the cost will be high in the thousands. Let me share a real example of disruption by HealthJobHub. One of our early wins at HealthJobHub was when a clinic in Calgary posted their job opportunity, and within 5 days of posting their job, they had a qualified candidate who called them, met with them, and agreed to join them.
Wow.
The speed in which this connection was made was unprecedented. It was a huge moment for us. It was validation that our idea actually worked. There was no additional cost to the employer for securing this highly skilled and highly sought after candidate. All it costed the employer was the extremely low price of the job posting they had made on healthjobhub.com. We heard directly from the candidate himself about his experience using healthjobhub.com. He was unknown to us until the day he called me to share his story. He was extremely excited about how easy it was to use our platform and to connect with clinics. He loved the fact that he had photos and that he could call the hiring manager directly from the job posting, and arranged to meet the very next day. He was super impressed with his experience using healthjobhub.com. And this, to me, is our definition of disruption. HealthJobHub has the potential to significantly reduce the time to hire and to radically reduce the cost to hire.
No, I mean that is impressive, right? And when you can match the hiree, the employee right through each other through a network, I mean that is impossible to do in a lot of things, and there's a lot of red tape with other and third parties. So that is awesome. That story, I love hearing real life experiences and how you are disrupting this market. And I know I mentioned earlier that you were scared, and you say you're a little bit of a worrier, and I mean, I think it's part of being an entrepreneur. We all worry. What are we going to do next? What's going to happen? Where's our next client? That type of thing. But please share some of your, maybe your scared moments, your worry moments, and how you overcame them.
Thank you, Jade. As you know, that 90% of all startups fail. And I am an accountant by profession, and hence I'm trained to think about all the risks and how to mitigate risk. I am still worried that my startup could fail, as these are early days. But the most important thing I did last year was to focus on generating revenue. And that has allowed me the opportunity to continue to work on my startup this year. So it's easy to get distracted in the startup world, but being focused in these early days is extremely important.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we talk about revenue, the bottom line, so often, and how you spend your money. Was there, I guess, to expand on that just a little bit, with you being a numbers person, and I really haven't talked to a whole lot of accountants on this show.
Yes.
What was the money that you had? How did you spend it, and were you really meticulous on what parts of the business you spent it on?
Oh, Jade, I am hypersensitive about spending money. You wouldn't believe. In my personal life, I'm not that way. But in my business life, because I know the life of my business depends on how much of money I left in the bank account to continue operating the next day, I am so extremely stringent. I make a decision every day what is priority and what is absolutely necessary to get done now to get us to the next level. And I make my spending decisions based on that. You know, we can get carried away with marketing. We can get carried away with, you know, all numbers, you know, a whole lot of like glitzy and glamorous things in these early days. But to be honest, without getting that flow of revenue coming into the business, we are just going to be living in a pile of expenses. So it is critical for me and every other entrepreneur to really manage your cost, to really focus on what's important to get you to the next level, and to be able to use your money wisely. You know, I'm bootstrapping, I'm self-invested completely. I have not taken any investment for what I'm doing, but I'm fortunate to be in this position I am, you know, 18 months later. So I think I really attribute most of that to managing the costs as, you know, drastically as I've done to date.
I mean that's awesome, and I mean that's great advice. That's something that I mean I wish all entrepreneurs would look at. And as you say, you don't have to spend money on things that are glitzy and glamoury and markety. It's the bottom line and how you're going to grow that bottom line, and that is great.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm talking with Prasanthi Naidoo, founder of HealthJobHub.com. You can click on the website right from the comment section. So I know you're kind of in a little bit of a unique situation when it comes to your market, your competitive market, and it is competitive because everybody's advertising jobs, and there are some major players. So how are you using this market, and how are you growing your business?
That's an awesome question, Jade. You know, I'm under no illusion. I am working in the most competitive market environment there is, but I'm still here 18 months later to share the story with you on your show. So that for me alone is a huge win. You know, what I found about the jobs industry, it's a highly collaborative industry. Platforms are continuously building relationships and working together for the end result. And the end result is to find the best candidate to fill the job and to do it the fastest we can. So what I've noticed, even if you yourself look on Facebook, you will see job ads or platform ads from LinkedIn or ZipRecruiter, HealthJobHub. We all use each other's platforms to promote ourselves and to drive the relevant traffic to our sites. So I found personally, it's a highly collaborative environment. And you know what's really super special about the time we are building our businesses in is that a small startup like mine can play on an equal footing with the major, huge giants in the world, like the LinkedIn's, the Facebook, the Google for Jobs, the Facebook for Jobs, because we can share each other's platform. We could promote ourselves on each other's platform. I may not have the budget, the same budget that they have to do this, but we could still have a presence where they have a presence. And I find that so fascinating. And I believe that is one of the catalysts that helps us grow our businesses as startups, because we can really connect with our end users and share our stories and differentiate ourselves and tell them why we are different from the giants that's out there.
I think that's so unique. I mean, I've interviewed a lot of people that have, obviously have big players, and there's big players in every market, but I don't think I've interviewed somebody where you're using your competitors' platform to grow your business, which I think is really unique.
Well, as I said, we are living in an amazing era, and we have so many endless opportunities of these online platforms, and I'm not the only one who's doing it. The other major players are doing it too. We are working together. We are striving for the common goal, and that is to find the best candidates to fill our jobs.
And I mean, that's the bottom line, right? I mean, in the end, we're here to supply a service to make sure that our clients are happy and are successful as well. And I mean, every time that, you and I have met, I get that genuine passion from you. You want to make sure that your clinics, that when they use your services, that they are getting the best people. And from what I'm told, they are. So that's a big kudos to you.
Thank you, Jade. And, let me add to that question that you asked. In fact, we are all fighting for the same marketing budgets. So, HealthJobHub and any of the other major players are going to employers and sharing our stories. And we all are, trying to get that same budget for us to then go out and market and bring forth the candidates. It's the story behind why we are doing our work that really resonates with that end candidate and why they come to our site and why they go and fill those jobs. So, I think it's so important for us to be able to compete on the same level playing field and be able to really connect with those end users because, at the end of the day, we are really serving the purpose to fill the healthcare jobs faster.
Yeah, and that's just amazing, and I'm so happy that you're able to do that on a regular basis and keep everybody employed, and it's bringing down that unemployment rate, especially here in Alberta. So keep on bringing more people in.
Thank you.
So I know we were talking a little bit before, and you kind of dropped a bombshell on me. So that was really good. So I'll just let you have the platform, and you can tell me what's next for HealthJobHub.
Well, thank you so much for asking. I am excited to share that we have just launched our platform into the USA market and now publish jobs in the US and Canada. But that's not all. I have some breaking news to share to you and your users, your viewers, is that we just added jobs onto our platform from India and South Africa. So we are offering more choices to our users. So now we publish jobs from 4 countries globally and have plans to scale into more countries this year. So I'm so excited about this news, and I'm delighted to share it with you for the first time.
And thank you so much for sharing that and saving it for my show. I appreciate that, and congratulations. That is, I know that was a goal of yours, and when we had our first coffee, and now to see that you've gone from Calgary to Canada to the US, and now you are playing on a global market. That is just absolutely outstanding, and congratulations.
Thank you, Jade. I appreciate that.
And I'm sure that that adds a little more logistics and a little more sleepless nights.
Oh my goodness, Jade, the complexity now, the challenge of scaling globally and bringing on all these jobs, I can tell you, yes, there was no sleep last night. The complexity has certainly increased, but I'm so excited by the challenge. Every opportunity is an opportunity to grow. So yes, scaling brought its own set of challenges, which we are facing head on, and we are determined to, make the most of this opportunity. So onwards and upwards from here.
Oh, that's so good. It's gonna. I think you're gonna be. We'll have you on again in another year and a half, and before you know it, you'll probably be in 181 countries in the world.
I am hoping and praying that happens. Absolutely.
I probably won't even have a chance to get to you. I'm just going to say, oh yeah, talk to my marketing person. They'll do the interview.
Well, maybe Peer Guidance might be doing some of that marketing. Who knows?
Oh, you never know. Exactly. Oh no, for sure. The last question I always ask, and I really enjoy the answers, and you shared some really good knowledge, especially when it comes from the accounting side of your accounting background, and really focusing on spending your money. But if you had one piece of advice for an entrepreneur, a startup, a small business, what would that be?
Focus on revenue in these early days, unless you're the next Facebook. Honestly, I cannot overemphasize that. My advisors always gave me that advice. And in the early days, I have to say, in the very early days, I was really mesmerized by technology, building the next big thing that's going to be acquired. And, you can get so distracted, Jade. You can make so much of investment. You can spend so much of money pouring into something that nobody wants. So the only thing that could actually validate your idea with confidence is actually getting dollars from somebody who's willing to part with their hard-earned cash to pay for the service you're providing. So that validation to me is just absolutely, priceless. That is the reason why I'm doing this today and tomorrow and the next day is because there are employers who are willing to, pay us to, deliver the service to them. And if you are not getting that revenue, you're not going to be able to continue doing this for long. So therefore, to every small business out there, or if you're just getting started like I was, and I am still getting started, you really need to focus on revenue in these early days. But I also would like to add, if you don't mind me saying,
Oh, no.
don't give up. If you truly believe in your idea, persevere, because, I tell you, it's so challenging being an entrepreneur. There's so many days. It's such a long journey. There's so many days that you just want to say, okay, I give up. Like, let's forget this and just do something simpler. Because it is, if, anything really worth it is difficult. It just doesn't come easy. There's so many people that said, and lots of wise people that said, the harder you work, the luckier you get. And that's 100% true. The harder you work, the luckier you get. It's hard work. And if you're willing to put in that hard work, believe in your idea, you get that sense of validation, persevere. Of course, if there's no validation and if you feel that you're running around in circles, then you might want to pivot, right? That is what happens. And even in your idea, like there's so many times that I have to tweak things I'm doing, tweak my messaging, tweak my pricing options, tweak what I'm doing, because I'm getting all this feedback from the market continuously. And then, being able to turn around the feedback in a positive way is critical. So focus on revenue, remember what's important, persevere, and, keep doing what you love.
No, all great advice. And I mean, and I love the focusing and things, but I mean, what I'm going to take out of this is something that, I preach even, especially with peer guidance, is you really have to be cognizant of what you're doing and how it affects the bottom line. Because number one, money is very hard to come by.
100%.
It is very hard to grow your business without any money. So the money that you do have has to be invested wisely in your business. So that's, I can say it's certified accountant guaranteed from.
Thank you. That's awesome. Thank you so much for having me, Jade. I've had so much fun.
Oh, no, again, thank you for, taking your time and sharing your story and knowledge. And again, for anybody that wants to click and find out some more information about Health Job Hub, it is right in the comment section. Just click on that. It'll go directly to Prasanthi's website. So again, thank you so much for coming on today. And I look forward to catching up for a coffee in the future.
Absolutely. Anytime, just let me know. Thank you, Jade. It was a
All
pleasure.
right. Have a great day. Take care.
You too. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.